Hi guys, Olive here. Here today to tell you about 10 great booktubers whose content I really enjoy watching, and I think you will too. Every single year, I try to make it a priority to make one of these shout-out videos, because even if you're on Booktube a lot, it can still be really challenging to find new booktubers that you want to watch, new people who read the same types of books that you read to put in your feed. But because I'm on Booktube all the time, I hear about a lot of great new channels that I go on to watch, some of which I watch on a religious basis, and I think it's really important to bring them to your attention for two different reasons. Number one is that we're a community of booktubers here. We have to look out for each other. And also, I owe a lot of my own channel's success to other people shouting me out over the years, and I think it is really, really important to pay it forward. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you about 10 great booktubers whose channels I think would be amazing additions to your YouTube feed. But before I get started, I did want to briefly mention what my criteria was for putting people on this list. I like to be transparent. So everyone who I talk about in this video, I have been watching their channels for at least the past few weeks. More frequently, it's been the past few months. All of these people have under or around 1,000 subscribers as of the time I'm filming this. All of these people have been active on their channels within the past 3 months, and it seems to me that they intend to keep posting on their YouTube channel. I also try to pick people who have at least a little bit of overlap with my reading tastes. Obviously, the booktubers that I choose to watch are going to probably read similarly to me, even if we only have one or two genres in common. But I have to assume if you're here on my channel watching my videos, you like the types of books that I pick up. And so I, of course, want to point you in the direction of booktubers who read at least somewhat similarly to me. One more thing to mention before we get started, all of the channels I mentioned today will be linked in the description box below. I have linked a video per person, a video that I think is really representative of what their channel has to offer. I highly encourage you to click on those links, go watch these channels, give them a try. If you enjoy their content, definitely do consider subscribing. These are all wonderful channels and they definitely deserve more subscribers. But if you do decide to subscribe or like or comment or engage with them in any way, do be sure to let them know that I sent you. As someone who has received shoutouts from other booktubers in the past, it can sometimes be kind of confusing, mildly alarming when a lot of people start subscribing at the same time and you don't know where they're coming from. So please help me alleviate their confusion and let them know in the comment section of their videos that Olive sent you. Okay, let's get started. The first person who I would like to shout out is Denise from the channel La Rosa Reads. Denise is still fairly new to Booktube, but she and I found each other and connected pretty early on because she also lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I live. Denise is the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion at a local school, and she's also a busy mom of 2. Denise seems to enjoy reading historical fiction, nonfiction, romance. She said she's starting to read some thrillers, and she also seems to really enjoy book club books, like books for book clubs hosted by celebrities. And it turns out she actually has a history with those types of books. She's been reading books for Oprah's book club for a very long time, and it turns out that back in 2004, she was named an Oprah's A+ reader, and she actually got to fly out to Chicago and make a brief appearance on the Oprah show. She made a whole video about that experience. Denise is an amazing speaker, and she has this natural camera presence. I mean, she's a trained performer, so I guess it's no surprise that she just seems so at home in front of the camera. She seems like she's been doing this for so much longer than she actually has been doing it because it just seems effortless. She's been putting out great content, including some with cameos by her wonderful daughters. I can't wait to see what she does next. Next up is Anya from Well Traveled Books, who seems to, as advertised, travel quite a bit. Anya just seems like a really cool person, like someone who you would just love spending time with, and fortunately we get to do that in the form of her videos, which are very fun to watch. I know she doesn't enjoy reading sci-fi or fantasy, but it seems like she gets along with most other genres of fiction. I've seen her read historical fiction, literary fiction, some Stephen King, who seems to occupy a genre all of his own. I know she also reads nonfiction, but in the more recent recent past, she has just started reading thrillers, romance, and she's just gotten into listening to audiobooks, which seems to have opened up a door into a whole new world for her. And I don't know about you, but part of the joy of watching BookTube for me isn't just the month-to-month reading updates and whatever other types of content we make here. It's also the privilege of getting to see the progression of someone's reading life over a large period of time, seeing them branching out and trying new things and discovering things about themselves as readers. And Anya is kind of doing that right now. So because Anya seems to be at that kind of moment in her reading life, plus the fact that she makes these fun and engaging videos, it has turned those videos into must-watch content for me. The third person on this list is Fran from Fran Nook in the Pages. She is an introverted Italian who reads a little bit of everything. I know she reads nonfiction, mainly memoirs and narrative nonfiction, but then in terms of her fiction taste, she reads contemporary fiction, historical fiction, literary fiction, romance, YA, middle grade, sci-fi, fantasy, graphic novels, a very nice variety, which I always love in the BookTube channels I watch. Fran is just so pleasant to watch. She's warm, she's welcoming, she's enthusiastic. She's one of those booktubers who you'll have one of her videos on and you just can't help but have a smile on your face the whole time you're watching one of her videos. She has been so dedicated to her channel, even though she just got started fairly recently. Like right after she got started, she took on Vlogmas, posting a lot of videos in December. She did a fantastic job. So impressive. So there's already all of this content to go and enjoy if you want to check out her channel, and I obviously highly recommend you do. And then there's Camilla from Hasty Books. Camilla lives in Scotland, but she's actually French-Canadian and Chilean, and she grew up in Canada. She's a writer, she has a background in literature, she really enjoys running and travel, and she actually has her own website where she posts lifestyle content. Now, in terms of what she reads, Camilla reads a lot of different types of things. Unsurprisingly, since I found her channel and I really enjoy watching her channel, she does read some nonfiction, but also she enjoys contemporary fiction, literary fiction, the classics, French literature, romance, a little bit of fantasy. Camilla has a very calming, very comforting presence. She's very poised, but she's also very genuine and she has a great sense of humor. I just find her completely charming. I love watching her videos. And then there's Taya from Taya's Turning Pages. Taya lives in Philadelphia, so another fellow Pennsylvanian. I love it. Taya went to Penn State and she works in public relations. Taya really likes romance. She says that's her favorite genre, but from what I've seen on her channel, she reads a lot of different genres. Thrillers and mysteries, contemporary fiction, historical fiction, nonfiction, mainly a lot of memoir within nonfiction, and she also said she's starting to get into reading the classics. Taya's videos are full of energy, she passionately talks about the books that she's read, and she's really, really great at communicating what worked for her in a book and what didn't work for her in a book. And it sounds like that's really simple, but as someone who's been on this platform for over 7 years now, I can tell you it is not as easy as it sounds, and yet Taya makes it look completely effortless. I love hearing her perspective on what she reads. She knows what she likes, she knows what she doesn't like, and she doesn't mince words about either, and I love that. Next up is Rosie from the channel Rosie Cockshit. Rosie is Canadian. She works as an economist for the Canadian government. She really enjoys baking. She likes the color purple, as in the actual color, not necessarily the classic, although maybe she enjoys that as well. I don't know. But what I do know is that she really likes nonfiction, literary fiction, horror, mysteries, sci-fi, fantasy. Again, a nice variety, just like I look for in the BookTube channels I subscribe to. Rosie's been on BookTube for a little over a year now, and in that time, she has been prolific. She has put out a staggering number of videos. It is so impressive how dedicated she has been to her channel thus far. She does a lot of the BookTube staple kinds of videos. She does a lot of tags. She makes vlogs. She does the occasional live show. If you like your BookTube channels to be active and reliable, then hers is definitely for you. But Rosie's also just really fun. She's cheerful and good-natured. You can tell not just in the quantity of of videos that go up on her channel, but in her demeanor in those videos, that she just loves making booktube content. That love just sings through in the content that she makes. So every single time a new one of her videos pops up in your feed, it is bound to brighten your day. The next booktuber I'd like to recommend is Heather from the channel Fresh Parchment. She's an avid booktube viewer turned booktuber who loves the classics, particularly Jane Austen, but she also reads historical fiction and mysteries, a little bit of fantasy, some contemporary fiction and nonfiction. She said that she's up to reading any genre except horror. Heather's from a bookish family. She studied English literature and Spanish language during her time at university, and she now works as a middle school Spanish teacher, which I think is awesome. Obviously, she loves reading, but she seems to be passionate about the arts in general. She really loves theater and opera. She's got this classy, calming energy about her, but then at the same time, you can tell that she's a voracious reader and learner, and I just love that. I think if you really enjoy Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, Kate Howe, Katie from Books and Things, then Heather is someone you're definitely going to want to subscribe to. Then there's Shelley from the channel Shelley Swearingen. She enjoys reading broadly and widely. As she says, she reads a lot of classics, including recently she's been reading a lot of the ancient classics, but she also reads nonfiction, literary fiction, historical fiction. I know she also reads a lot of children's books, probably partially because she's a mom of two. Shelley is very peppy, she's very creative, and you can tell when you watch her videos that she really enjoys the process of making a video. I know for some of us on BookTube, the tech side of things, when it comes to making videos, can sometimes just be a means to an end. We don't always love that side of it. But with Shelley, I definitely get the impression that she really likes that part of the process as well. Shelley is also just very involved in the BookTube world, at least our little corner of BookTube here. She participates in a lot of BookTube events. She watches a lot of content, comments on a lot of videos. Like, you can just feel the passion that she has for this space. And her videos are well put together and just delightful. I think she's a gem. There are only two more people left on this list. The penultimate person I would like to shout out is Gloria from her channel Gloria Z. Thompson. Gloria started her YouTube channel much more as a lifestyle channel, but it seems like she's now transitioned into talking about, at least mainly, books on her channel. She reads nonfiction, historical fiction, classics. She reads some mysteries and thrillers, pretty much everything except for sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. Gloria seems to be very centered, very composed, so her videos are very comforting, but then they're also really entertaining because she has this love of learning, and you can definitely feel that in her content. And what's extra cool about Gloria is that she lives and works on a bee farm just outside of Portland. Her dad is a beekeeper. She grew up around that. It's a family business. I think that's incredible. She's also a native Russian speaker. So I just find everything about Gloria to be amazing. Her videos have been some of my favorites to watch recently. And then the final booktuber who I would like to recommend today is Gina from Gina Stainer Books. Gina is originally from California, but she now lives in rural Washington with her husband and the adorable kittens that they foster. She works from home. She works in healthcare IT, and she said that she started her channel after having been watching and commenting on BookTube videos for a really long time, but she wanted the mental stimulation that creating videos would provide when she felt herself getting a little bit of brain fog. Gina majored in English in college, and from what I've seen on her channel, she seems to read a lot of classics, literary fiction, historical fiction, mysteries, and fantasy. And just like Shelley, Gina is someone who seems to have a real passion for our little corner of BookTube. You'll see her participating in larger BookTube conversations quite a lot on her channel. And Gina's whole channel feels like a personal conversation with her because she talks about her reading on her channel, but she also talks about how those books and her reading ties into her life. So for instance, she made a whole video about financial planning, like planning for retirement, and she talks about that topic, but also also the books she read to inform herself about that topic. It just feels so personal, like it feels like an invitation into her life, which is wonderful. I actually discovered her channel because I saw one of her videos in which she was discussing some of her favorite cookbooks. I discovered some new cookbooks by watching her channel. I've made recipes from them, and I've been watching her channel ever since. I think she's amazing. So those are 10 booktube channels that I personally love and highly recommend. If you want to check out their content, which obviously I highly recommend you do, be sure to check out the description box below where I've linked them for you. And if you stop by, and definitely if you decide to subscribe, be sure to leave them a comment saying hi and letting them know that I sent you. Let me know in the comment section below if you have a booktube channel or if you know of any booktube channels that you think I would really enjoy watching. I always love adding new faces to my feed. And if you would like to keep up with what I am reading and writing about right now, at the bottom of the description box below, you can find links to everywhere you can find me around the internet, including Goodreads and Instagram, where I'm the most active. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.